I honestly believe that in the next 10 years or so, there is not going to be a bigger industry than the industry of solving social issues in South Africa, right? South Africa is the most unequal country in terms of distribution of income and wealth in the whole world, right? Unemployment is been rising. The economy has been rising under 5 or 6 or something like that. Not even a percentage, right? So this already draws you some picture of how the future will look. Like I said before, my dream is for no African child to feel like it wouldn't be possible for them to start a business or to be an innovator, because of their surroundings. And that is the commitment I made when I put Africa in the name. Access Network Africa was to remind me that when I started this vision, it was about impacting economic development and innovation. I then fell in love with social entrepreneurship, which was a thing where I could do 2 of the things that I love the most, which is making money and fixing social issues in my community. I truly believe that there are no better people to take care of the problem than the people who are affected.
If someone from the township comes to you, a young person from the township, and says, I want to start something, but I don't have capital, what should I do? What is the first thing that you'd tell them that they should do? What is the first thing that you'd advise them?
It's not a matter of fair or unfair, but if you can't try and figure out something to make out of nothing, then chances are, even when you do have money, it will take you long to get the picture, or you might not get the picture, That's what I would love for every young person listening or watching this podcast to really understand. Just hone in that skill every day of problem solving.
I really
and you'll be okay.
Because you'll never run out of problems.
You'll never run out of problems. That's so true. You'll never.
Hi, I'm Michelle.
I'm Atu.
And together we run a web design company in Cape Town.
Yeah, cool jacket.
Yeah,
got to say.
And this is sort of our home to connect with other entrepreneurs and kind of document our journey, sort of. Yeah.
We got our next guest coming up now. He's pulling up on us. Steve's down to pick him up.
Okay, so you may have heard of companies like Sweep South or Patagonia, which are companies that are impact focused more than profit focused. And that's just what our guest is today. His name is Arthur Mexico. We are going to ask him about his name. And he runs a social enterprise that's very much impact focused. And we're excited to interview him today because that's we resonate so much with that. We also try to be more impact focused than profit focused. So we've got a lot to learn from him today, and we're very excited. We're excited. See you soon.
Now we have a face to the name. This is Arthur Mexico. Actually, tell
us about that. We were sitting, we were like Mexico.
It's a very interesting one, but I wouldn't want to spoil the fun for you guys and everyone watching at home. So let me get them to the last. If you get to the last 5 minutes of this interview, then I'll tell the full story.
We'll take it. Okay, so now Arthur's decided he's gonna make burgers.
Yes.
Avo and bacon.
Avo and bacon, beef, homemade burger.
Yes.
Yeah. That's like my go-to lazy meal. I'm really such a simple guy when it comes to food. And that's like comfort food. And if you think, even growing up as a kid, like so many memories, your parents coming with like a burger and fries, and I was going crazy. So I guess that's why it's like my comfort food. It reminds me of home, relaxing.
Okay, nice.
Welcome to our
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Okay, let's get into the cooking.
Yes.
Arthur, you must tell us. So do you?
Okay, so how I usually do, I would start with the patty, right?
Right.
Patty, and then I'd go in with the depending on what your heart tells you. What do you guys usually do? This before the ever? Can you
I mean, actually put some
the letters at the bottom.
Or base sauce, and then.
Bro, that's why teamwork is so important. We forget these things. Life is busy. We forget these things. Base first.
Oh, is it already? Okay.
Tell us a bit more about Access Network Africa.
Yeah.
And what moment made you decide you want to pursue a career that's about impact and not about profits?
Okay. So I grew up like many young people of color in South Africa, where society or our communities had very common like social issues, unemployment, substance abuse, crime, and all of those scary things. And growing up, it was like I couldn't fathom that a business as a concept or a thing that our people could have. It was such a difficult concept to grasp, and that was only because of the realities around.
You see workers and you don't see.
You understand owners. Exactly. And I grew up seeing that, and seeing our people. More of our people being workers rather than owners of production. And I remember going out of high school, coming into varsity and trying to figure out what it is that I wanted to do in business. And then I just, I did not want any other black or brown child to feel that, and that is what inspired the purpose behind the work that I do, right?
Okay.
So my purpose is rooted in economic development in black and brown communities, right? And as I went on in my journey, I then fell in love with social entrepreneurship, which was a thing where I could do two of the things that I love the most, which is making money and fixing social issues in my community, right? And that's where my journey began 10 years ago. I played a role as an ecosystem developer, hosted networking events, helped give advisory services to startup. And 3 years ago, I started Access Network Africa. We are a youth empowerment firm, right? So we're on this very big mission to tackling youth unemployment, and we're doing it through two pathways. So the first being education and skills development, and the second one being social impact and youth startup support.
Okay.
Yeah. So quite practically how it looks like, we develop business leadership and innovation courses and boot camps, and then we also help private companies meet their triple bottom line. So the triple bottom line is basically people, profit, planet.
Yeah.
And we design social impact projects from scratch that supports entrepreneurs. Yeah.
That's so interesting, because for me, it's what I'm wondering is, so a lot of people are not able to, when you're talking about when you realized what social entrepreneurship is, and how you wanted impact and you wanted profits. A lot of people are not able to make the connection between impact work and how they can make money out of it. But you were able to do that with Access Network
100%.
Africa. So I want to know, how did you get to figuring that out? Because a lot of people think, I guess NGO.
Yeah.
If they think youth development, they would think NGO.
Yes.
They wouldn't think.
So I mean, that is such a beautiful question. So not a lot of people have access to this, information and exposure to how far development actually stretches, right? So in South Africa, we have certain acts and certain initiatives that has been created in order to sort of try and readdress the inequalities of the past and the current inequalities that we still live in, right? So BEE is unfortunately the poster child for what is supposed to be economic development. But there are certain obligations that companies have in South Africa, right, to contribute towards this big mission we have set out as a country to fix inequality, to tackle poverty, to take care of the environment, right? So it stretches beyond just economic development.
You see, people don't even know
Yeah,
that. They think
those
BEE gives black people jobs.
100%. Or help a black entrepreneur start up
rich.
shop and become rich, which is far from the reality. And what companies then have is what they call social responsibility, your CSI, your CSR, and this is a percentage of their profits, which they can then get rebates from SARS, and that portion needs to be used to invest in the community, right? So companies would have quite a broad or very specific categories of initiatives that they would make their mission to invest in. So that is where we get support for the entrepreneurship programs that we host in communities. We also do sell our courses and boot camps. That's more B2C, and we work with private schools and so on. But when it comes to our long-term projects, we present our cases to different companies. And the case behind that is really simple. Help us on this mission to tackle youth unemployment. How? Through this type of initiative that would
there was actually some it's completely like, it's not in South Africa, but there was this, I think it might be the Netherlands, where this organization came to sort of very similar social entrepreneurship, where they found a case where certain factors made kids pass, and the education is state funded. So the state would lose money by kids failing. So they came in to say, hey, we can ensure that you're saving money by getting kids through the system. If you fund us this much.
X amount. And that is how, that's a great example, because that's how innovative social impact can be, right? It's not just about setting up an NGO and doing a 6 months program on training. It can get as complex, and not even complex, as innovative as that, because in a project like that, like you say, they're now helping government to not have to go through that wasteful expenditure of kids, dropping and failing.
That's what I was going to say. That's what I like about your answer, because you go to companies and say, this is the value we can provide. This is your problem.
100%.
Here's the value. But the problem we're solving is social. It's a social issue.
100%.
But it still provides value, which I think, even for myself, it's hard for me to figure out where the value is going to come from, other than your beneficiaries.
Yes, 100%.
Well, I really like that.
And as of late, you'd find that even in social impact initiatives, PR departments, marketing departments within companies also have interest in collaborations, partnering, and supporting. Because what I do in my work is I also do, for a big corporate, practically show that they are on a mission of taking care of not only their customers, but their potential customers and their future customers as well. So that essentially speaks to what you're saying when it comes to value. There is the commercial value of supporting social impact. I like. This is like PR for the social impact. I like this.
You're doing very well. Okay. Put your Ever on, guys. My burger's full.
Okay, so
it's
you're
packed.
good.
Yeah. I'm ready.
I need apple, and then I need my bacon.
Okay.
And we're good to go.
Am I gonna be judged if I add like more salt?
No,
Perfect.
I actually think Abo needs salt.
You got me there. I was like, okay, wait, what's going on?
Yeah, he does judge. Like, this one time we went to a braai
Yeah.
and they put like, it was just saltier than usual.
Not
Okay.
salt, dude.
Okay, there was salt on the meat.
Okay.
And somebody
More
else
than usual.
cooked, yes.
Okay.
No, it was salt with a side of meat.
Salt.
That's
No, it was.
it. Salt with a side of meat.
But you're at a braai, someone else spent a whole day making the food for you.
Yeah.
So you should just eat it, right?
Yeah.
Atu just could not. He couldn't just take
Like-
the food in and like not say anything. He
Did
was like,
Did you also have the same meat that
yes, I did. It was salty, but like, I'm like, somebody made it.
Oh, you could still go
Yeah,
in.
I was like, somebody
She's got
made it.
some social etiquette I do not.
Yeah, you don't. Exactly.
And are you the type you can't even hide it in your face?
No, she can't hide it in her face. I can't hide it with my words.
Okay. But like, you sort of go, which one is better, you know? Because I don't know. I think the face thing is more of a challenge because you can be caught in a compromising position where I see instantly what your actual reaction is at all times. Words, I could interpret it in another way. Maybe I heard it wrong. But face,
yeah. Body language doesn't lie.
Dead giveaway.
That's a dead giveaway, bro. You
Can give me
can't.
the rest of it?
Yes, please.
Hey, did you almost forget the
Okay,
bacon?
I'll be honest. I forgot about the bacon. I won't even lie. I'm not even gonna try and act cool.
Guys, the chips are really nice. I actually can't believe it.
Okay, put that there.
They're cooked perfectly.
Mm.
I love it.
Under 30 minutes, right?
Yeah. All right.
That was impressive.
So, everyone's going to taste and then we give it a 10 rating.
Okay.
Yes.
Unless you're trying to influence
10
results.
podcast rating or a rating out of 10.
Okay.
I'll be honest with you, the last thing we made for the recent episode,
What was it?
mess.
Yeah.
What was it?
No, we can't tell you. You'll find out.
Oh, this is
terrible.
interesting. Okay, cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers.
Okay.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's actually so nice.
That's how it is.
No, well done, eh?
When you cook with love.
This is what you get.
That's
Wow.
really nice.
I was not expecting that.
It's
Sorry.
beautiful. No. I'm gonna ask a weird question. It's not totally weird. What do you guys prefer? Burger then fries? Or fries then burger? Or both at the same time?
Sorry.
Both at the same time. So
Oh, like how you eat it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
it'd be a mix,
Yeah.
but then I have to finish with the fries. I have to leave fries for last.
This is mad.
You have to leave some.
Some for last, yeah.
Got you.
I can't finish with burger. I can't finish with the burger. I feel like my meals incomplete.
Guys, let's rate it.
So I'm asking because some people do burger first, then fries last, without mixing.
No, I can't do that.
Nah, that's a bit...
I can't do
Serial killers.
Okay, I will rate it.
Okay.
Out of?
Out of 10, the chips are... I wouldn't say star of the show. Chips are really good. The burger is really good as well. That's what I'm getting at.
I love a burger.
Yeah. I think overall, I'll give it a 9.
9, okay.
No.
Okay. Would you like to go?
Oh,
Actually-
okay.
I'll come
We
last.
toasted the bun.
If we toasted right, that was gonna... Okay.
This is a 9 for me. I can't believe
That's
it.
a 9.
I genuinely love this burger.
Okay. I mean, my hands were involved, so I'm going to say 9.
Rate
I'm going
yourself.
to say 10. In
Yes,
fact,
there we go.
it's a 10.
Yeah.
It's a 10.
Okay, so I'm still shocked by that burger. I really
That
enjoyed
was
it.
way better than I imagined.
Yeah, even me.
I get so nervous when, like, I was asked to introduce a dish, right?
Yeah.
And I started overthinking. I was like, is this going to be good enough for the show? Also, I've seen the dishes that have been made in the past, and they were very interesting.
Yeah.
So, I thought maybe let's take it to basics,
It was
can't go wrong. And I can't recall, what was the score that Do you guys get
9.
Okay. Just making sure.
We got half from Adriana, 9.
Just making sure.
Oh, boast a little less.
Yeah. But it was good. It was good.
Yeah, so earlier we were speaking about you running a social enterprise which focuses more on impact rather than profit. But just for people who this may be their first time hearing about this, or they don't know what that is, could you explain what the difference would be from if Access Network Africa was an NGO, or if it was purely for profit, like maybe like it would be like set up like Curo or something like that. Yeah. What's the difference between the
very
three?
Good question. Yeah. So essentially, an NGO cannot operate from a place of profit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you get funding or when a project is financed under your NGO, everything that you stipulated within the budget and the reasoning for the funding has to go to those items that you put down, right? So it is very, very particular in terms of everything that's used by everything that the NGO will use with the money that is donated or invested to the NGO.
Yeah.
And it is also a very strict process when it comes to accounting for where all that money has gone to, right? And as we know, when you're dealing with your NGO and have any projects under your NGO, there can be no scenario like a private company where if you happen to have some change left over, that is sort of seen as profit and can be maybe shared by the directors or the executive, team, right? That all has to go to what was stipulated there. So the overarching, I just remembered the word I was looking for, compliance. Compliance, right? So the overarching differentiating factor is compliance, right? So some companies and most companies, because of the rebates and the claiming back that they have to do in SARS, they will request a NGO or a PBO even before they finance a project.
What's a PBO?
So PBO is a public beneficial organization. It's under section but that is basically it's under some section, but that's basically where your investments that you've put in that particular business or the funds that you've invested for that particular project, you can then fully now be compliant with SARS as it having had gone to an social responsibility initiative or a CSI initiative. Right. And then when it comes to then your private business, you are able to also operate with your private business by receiving your sponsors or for a company basically hiring you to be an implementation partner for whatever CSI project, for example, they'd like to do in-house. And you would then be contracted because of your expertise and skills to carry out that project. And then nowadays in social impact, what we see is there's sort of this hybrid approach. What's happening in Curo, very interesting enough, that you mentioned well, and you've got organizations like Tsiba as well that operate from that type of entity, where you're able to do all your for-profit work, whether it's just consulting or handling a certain part of the project, which you can do under the private company, and then majority of the work you can carry out then under your NGO.
Yeah. Curo just recently, I think Capitec made it a non-profit now. They're seeking.
They're in that process
to do
100%.
That. Yeah. So in terms of for your thing, it's impact focused. I'm just thinking, how easy is it to balance impact and wanting to make profit?
Okay, so it's not that easy. The reality on the ground for many small businesses right now, especially in the last, I don't know, maybe 3 years since COVID-19, is that a lot of us are just making it, are just breaking even, right? So, when it comes to conversations of profit, it's quite a tricky one because a lot of us are just trying to survive.
Yeah.
But personally, and how I sort of run, my company, so where NGOs are going now, also by the way, that I missed, which is very important. NGOs are going the route of a heavy focus on sustainability, right?
Yes.
So we come from like an area where there were so many NGOs doing different stuff, different projects, but there's so much pressure now in the South African economy and in the landscape of where we are in terms of the social ills that we were trying to address all those years. And there are honestly very valid questions that are being raised. We are not seeing enough of the impacts of all combined efforts, NGOs, governments, in our community. So what a lot of funders and donors are saying now is that even in your NGO, do not be reliant on donations and funding. Show the for-profit aspect of your business. Have a aspect of your business that will be self-generating in terms of money coming in, right? So that in periods where you are not receiving funding or you're not receiving donations, you can sustain and you do not fall flat. So now the question that you raised of that balance of for-profit and non-for-profit, it is actually in the future of social impact. It is changing. It's becoming one thing. If you are going to have a social aspect of your business, in terms of compliance, yes, have your NGO, your PBO and all of that, but show that it would be something that will last for the long run.
Yeah. Well, speaking of sustainability, a lot of people seem to assume that social enterprises are like charities in disguise. How do you, it sort of steers people away from like even venturing in that direction. How do you like practically make sure that you're sustainable and like scalable?
Even for your one, for Access Network, like how did you go about thinking about that? Like obviously there's value that you offer, yes.
So I'm sort of just gonna take a back step to this question because it reminded me about something quite important. I honestly believe that in the next 10 years or so, there is not going to be a bigger industry than the industry of solving social issues in South Africa than this one. I just made it more dramatic. Than this one. I was like, wait, then this one? Nah, how about we add more spice to that? I believe that there's not going to be a bigger issue. And the reason why I say that, number one, in terms of stats, right? South Africa is the most unequal country in terms of distribution of income and wealth in the whole world, right? Unemployment is been rising. The economy has been rising under 5 or 6 or something like that. Not even a percentage, right? So this already draws you some picture of how the future will look like. So in terms of how far industries go, this is it's already an industry, but there's going to be so much more space and a bigger need for more players, right? And then closer to me answering your question, the exciting thing about this industry is that you have startups with very innovative corporate ideas who are coming in, making it very clear of the social ill that they are focusing on. You've got companies in security tech, making it possible for communities to, at the ease of their phones, alert each other when there is danger in the street. You've got guys who are doing deliveries with e-bikes, ekasi, where I'm not going to mention the brands. I almost have some brands had for years and still do the strict rule of when they enter Ikazi, you have to meet them at police station, and they don't drive in further than a police station, right?
Yo.
And, these are obviously realities of Western Cape and other areas, maybe they can share in the comments how far the deliveries go in their local community. But so this automatically now changes the conversation from how can you just contribute to solving a social ill to how can you solve it by innovating and coming up with a valid business idea, even fully corporate business idea, but your mission is rooted in this social issue. And maybe to now motivate, which I think I'm steering away from your question in terms of how I did it. So where we are now in terms of consumers, right? We are being exposed to adverts, products every day, non-stop.
Like with everything, it's really,
I'm
I'm so tired.
They say Google doesn't listen. Okay, I see what you did. I see what you guys did there. Please, people shouldn't skip. Watch that ad because it's working here. But now what that's created is that we are spoiled of choice as consumers.
Yes.
Right?
100%.
And now what consumers does, and remember we're talking social impact, but at Access we also business advisors. In case people forgot, we here to speak business. So what that has created, that spoil of choice, yes, there's a good part, access and everything, but now people need a different motivation to relate to your product, service, company, organization, right? It needs to be something deeper than just their immediate want and need, right? If you are a startup that takes care of a social ill in South Africa, your current, your future customers will be able to relate to your business way more than just another business with a good product to offer. So that is what I'd like to share with entrepreneurs in all industries, because, you get this mindset of it's more for the newer, more radical. No. In all industries, there's a part to play in alleviating. Even in your business plan, it's a section that your purpose will link to your vision, will link to your mission, right? Yes. And that is where now the mindset of social entrepreneurship is relevant to every and any type of business. Because when you are communicating that purpose or that mission that you're driving, it will be based on the excellency that you'd like to achieve in terms of your products and your services and innovation. But for a lot of products and services are centered around people. So it will automatically include this aspect of, people being part of this vision that you have, or community or the country. So that already is social entrepreneurship. So I would really love us to, which we are, moving away from boxing it only to sort of the approach of the NGO, MPO space, and it being and I mean, just to really sum up my point before I yap anymore, we already going to triple bottom line, people, profit, planet.
Yes.
That is where we're going globally. So already you can just imagine the space and the influence and the inspiration that social entrepreneurship will have for our entrepreneurs.
There's an article that I was reading the local economic forum on Misconceptions. So I had to do that for me. Misconceptions ago. But it does say that social enterprises will face a funding gap of 1.3 trillion. What's the biggest misconception surrounding fund?
Okay. So the first one is the issue of sustainability or lack of sustainability and what it's created. Part of what we were mentioning earlier.
Yeah.
So there's, number one, a very strict focus now on supporting NPOs, NGOs, social enterprises that have a big sustainability factor in terms of their plans, right? So there had to be a very quick shift globally when it comes to social enterprises to say that, okay, donors and funders are saying this is the direction that we are going towards now, right? And then when it comes to South Africa more specifically, to be maybe just a tiny bit controversial, I truly believe that there are no better people to take care of the problem than the people who are affected. Mm-hmm. Or at least they need to be part
of the,
you know what I mean? They have to be part of the designing of those solutions by social enterprises. And in South Africa, that has not always been a thing that has been, on it, and you look at, and, maybe I'm just speaking from a perspective of social enterprises that are in the development of entrepreneurs, space. And we need to see more of people in the community who are part of those decision-making processes, who are part of those engagements, not only from a perspective of a participant and understanding what it is but even in the designing, the core designing of the programs, having that involved. And then lastly, I think, let me speak to then the funders and the donors that are in South Africa, even there as well then. There's when it comes to the entrepreneurship development, there's sort of this very common outlook of, it being very hard for big social enterprises to reach the people who the projects are intended for, to reach the right people, the people who really need the help, to understand the different communities in South Africa and how things work. And I think just to add myself in as well, in the work that we do in terms of consulting with corporates, where and how they can invest, we do pride ourselves in how thorough we are in mapping out a township or whatever community before we even do projects there, right? Because a stakeholder in a township market is more broader than just what the textbooks tells us. For an example is that your biggest stakeholder in that community could be the mama that's been running a soup kitchen for years, out of her own pocket, or it could be the pastor or whoever. The stakeholders look way more different. And these are the people that are able to really give you the on the ground feel of how to operate, how to approach the community, right? So, I mentioned different facets, a bit about funding, a bit about execution, a bit about why sustainability is an issue, but that is also big contributing factor to this when we speak about that funding gap, and that's a lot of money. Because look,
a huge amount.
You can imagine. I just forgot the percentages, but there are thresholds, and there's a percentage of your profits as a corporate, as a certain level corporate that you need to. And we can see more. We could do with more of that, because if we go to our communities, we don't always see where that money is going.
It's going, sorry. No, I was just going to say, I like what you say, because from my experience, what I've seen with funders is that even just the way they think about sustainability is one direction. You need to sell something.
Yes.
There has to be a way for you to sell something, versus thinking about, okay, partnering with organizations that can give you funding long term is also another route to sustainability.
100%.
But the focus is so much on, if you're not selling something, you're not sustainable. If you're not able to offer a service, you're not sustainable.
And can I add to that? There's also now the fact that, if we look at social entrepreneurship and we look at entrepreneurship in South Africa specifically, you would know that from this, 30 something years, from 94 is it's not enough for you can't treat the South African market like any other market. We need to be aware of where we are, in terms of entrepreneurship, where we are in terms of education, because that affects, where we are in terms of, the economy. That all affects the mindset of the entrepreneurs and how we should approach.
Yeah, I really agree with that.
You can't copy and paste. That's so true. You can't copy and paste.
Yeah. So speaking of which, if someone from the township comes to you, a young person from the township, and says, I want to start something, but I don't have capital, what should I do? What is the first thing that you'd tell them that they should do? What was the first thing that you would advise them?
In our programs, right? Our courses, our boot camps, our master classes, the approach to entrepreneurship at its core, entrepreneurship is problem solving. It is critical thinking. It's innovation, right? So those three things are something that we hone in, especially in the projects, in the programs that we do in high schools and universities, right? Because the reality in South Africa is that most kids that enter these institutions are, even in 2025, the first of their family to even get to go into a higher, institution. So for me to ensure that, our participants, our clients are ready for the future where maybe funding programs are not involved, we teach them problem solving at its basic. And that goes then back to what they call bootstrapping. Right.
There we go. Yeah.
Bootstrapping, being resourceful.
Yeah, 100%,
honestly, it's not a matter of fair or unfair, but if you can't try and figure out something to make out of nothing, then chances are, even when you do have money, it will take you long to get the picture, or you might not get the picture,
100%,
so we're very realistic when it comes to our programs, when it comes to our trainings, when it comes to our consulting, because we want to prepare the young people for their realities out there. So if you can't be resourceful, if you can't bootstrap, and then a step back, if you can't problem solve and critically think, then then you're in trouble.
Then you can't be agile.
Yep.
You even your business has problems you need to solve internally anyway.
100%.
So the reason
every day, every day. You guys would know. You guys would know.
God, I can't.
And I'm sure, like, the solutions that you come up with, it's like people think that solutions or fixing solutions is complex. Also, you come up with this very complicated business strategy. Sometimes it's switching the camera batteries, but that is contributing to overall production and overall marketing. So that's what I would love for every young person listening or watching this podcast to really understand. Just hone in that skill every day of like problem solving.
I really
and you'll be okay.
Because you'll never run out of problems.
You'll never run out of problems. That's so true. You'll never.
Best way to build sustainable businesses is to actually be solving problems in an innovative way.
100%.
Like Michelle said, you always encounter problems, and the more innovative your solution is, the better.
100%.
And if you're solving the right problems.
Yeah.
The reason why I asked you that question as well is because most people use the lack of capital as like a prohibitor from them starting their business. That's something that everyone says, I want to start my business, but I don't have money. So then they don't even register their business.
And just to add to that, it really does depend on my mood on the day. But sometimes I go Gordon Ramsay and I'm like, just go home and think about it, and that's like really being strict. Like,
oh, wow.
maybe you need to think about the reason why you want to do this first, because there's a certain, we know there's a level of drive that you need to do this, right? We were not always on this level that we are, right? When I started entrepreneurship, it started off as just like this very deep interest that I had. Without realizing, I did start business when I was in high school. I sold a comic book, but that was for the wrong reasons because I wanted to impress a girl. And but how I put it, the biggest motivators, heartbreaks and all that, but how I put it together, I didn't realize it was a business. We had, my friend used to draw. This is in primary, not high school.
So you created the comic book?
Yes, we created and sold a comic book. And my friend used to draw. Literally every day in class, he'd be drawing. We're like grade 6, grade 7 almost. And I was going through a tough patch with this young lady that I had a crush on at the time, and I thought to myself, like, how could I get her attention? And I was like, how about you create a comic book and you the superhero in the comic and she is the lady that's being
rescued.
Saved. Yes. And guess what? I didn't even know this was PR. Bad PR, but okay. We used her name, her actual name, as the lady in the story.
Oh, so she got the story.
She got the story. Like, we didn't use my name. That was going to be too much.
Yeah.
But literally...
That's a nice friend, by the way.
You know what I mean? But how it did it was his mom had access to a printed work. We literally took white A4 paper. He did one very good copy, drew everything, including the texts, and we copied from that one copy that he drew on. So it was a one take. There was no digitization. It was literally a comic that was fully drawn. We used his mom's printer at the workplace. And then we did like a pre-order thing where I showed the cover and the last page, which essentially had the girl being saved and her name. And
do you still have this?
I didn't take, that's a problem. I didn't take it as doing business. I just took it as do you understand? So I tell people that story to show them that this is something that we have in us, even as a firstborn, when we were talking earlier on, you being entrusted by your parents to take care of the siblings, to come up with solutions when people are fighting. These are things as people of color we are exposed to. So my job is to then help bring out that potential in you. And then when it comes specifically to the capital conversation, every person needs to be dedicated to trying to figure out how they can substitute aspects that need money in their idea, how they can substitute it with partnerships, mentorship,
free stuff online.
That is the art. Exchange of services. That is the art of entrepreneurship.
That's true. Solve those problems.
That is the art of entrepreneurship.
Also, to a funder, it's not attractive if you're not making money, you don't have a product, and also you don't have a plan about how you're going to. They're just going to be like, talk to me when you sort it out.
When you're ready, and how about you start with it's beautiful that you have a plan A idea, but start with a plan B idea. Look at the skill sets that you have. Look at the resources that you have around you, and start from there.
You're right.
Yeah. Advice that we gave in our previous episode, I don't think it's the last one, but at some point we're like, just stop.
Just start.
Just start.
You'll figure
100%.
So earlier you were speaking about people are going to need to find ways to make people connect with their businesses over and above the fact that they're offering an excellent product, right? One way to do that, or the only way, is storytelling. And so I wanted to ask, what part has storytelling played for you? And also, but more importantly, what does it play for social impact enterprises, or rather social enterprises? How important is that for those types of businesses?
So when it comes to storytelling, It is very important. It gives the business an identity and a personality. Your business without a story, is just this entity that is producing a service or product, which could be excellent or whatever. But entrepreneurs do forget that at the end of the day, your customers are people.
Yes.
The individuals that you're doing this for are human beings.
Yes.
And as human beings, as part of our nature, we connect on a more deeper level than just what is presented to us, right? And we spoke about also consumers having, so much options nowadays. So what is going to make you stand out from another brand is how I, as a potential customer, can relate to the identity, personality of your brand or your entity.
Yeah,
that's true, because it also makes its way to like the biggest corporations. You talk about Microsoft.
Yes.
Or they go to Bill Gates' school.
100%.
His startup story. It's the same for the Jeff Bezos as well.
Yeah.
So it literally is something you can't separate from business.
100%. And I'd like to add to what you're saying. I mean, as Africans, we're natural storytellers, and I think this is something that we are going to do very well.
Yeah.
I think we just need to hone in it.
And we've got interesting stories.
We've got
Very
interesting
stories. That's why we excel so much at social impact stuff. It's because our stories are that interesting.
It's in us.
Yes.
Is that a social too?
Yes. Hey, it's a lot.
Before you go, I wanted to, because even nowadays investment is now based on vibes and stories. Like they need to connect with you as the person that they're funding. So you need to come with a story. You can't just come with numbers. Or in fact, people usually come with my idea is so good. But now it's like, your idea is good, but what's the story behind? Because I've seen so many good ideas. You're not the only one.
Sorry, just to answer to that, just to show you how important that is right now in the time that we're in. Even globally, we're seeing a big trend where it's not just investing in your business, but it's investing in the entrepreneur as well.
Yes.
That is happening right now as we speak. So South African entrepreneurs, I'd really push them to take advantage of that.
Yeah, because that's what makes you different from anything else that they're going 100%. To invest in. Yes. What I'm interested with you and your business is because it's impact based, does it ever make the stakes higher for you? And have there been days where you've just felt down or it feels like a lot doing what you're doing?
Yes, most definitely. I think when it comes to social impact, the benefits of the rewards are a bit more long-term. And then, unlike, very commercial business, that can be, heavily cash flow and at times, with social impact, you are only as good as the last project you've delivered, the last program that you've designed, and the success of that product is not once off, and more than anything, you're dealing with people. Dealing with people is a very complex task, and I've learned, you guys would know, I've learned to really embrace that and make it part of my life journey to figure this out, but I had to, because people are not going to stop being complex. People are not going to stop being complex.
I don't know how many times I've told Atu this, I must make peace with it.
You have to. And I'm also a life coach, performance coach.
I see.
So I do obsess as well about trying to figure out the human mind, how to motivate it, how to steer it towards the right direction. And even in those disciplines, it's very clear that there's no one book to give you a formula. So I've made peace with the fact that, it's a lifelong journey and entrepreneurs need to dedicate themselves to that.
Yeah, you just...
But it's also nice that you have intangible motivators. Most businesses will be we make money and that's it.
100%.
Maybe you're in social entrepreneurship, maybe it's the charitable aspect of it that is a motivator. It's a passion for people. It's your passion for fixing societal
Yeah.
abuse that can drive you, and that like can come secondary. I
Mm.
mean, money can come secondary to that.
To that.
A lot of the time.
That's usually exactly how it.
That's the beauty of it.
A lot of the time. Yeah, 100%.
If it's not like, hey, we put this much in our bank account and we're impacting this many people, we are participating in all of
We're
this.
100%.
Yeah, these different elements. Yeah, can live here. So what's next? What do you consider success?
Okay.
Both you and yeah.
Okay. So right now, in terms of our footprint, in terms of the communities that we've worked in we've worked in over 7 towns in the Western Cape. We've worked in the Cape Winelands, Boland, and now going into the Overberg region. And what motivated this was that we saw that there's a very big interest and activity. Not enough, but there is in the inner cities of the Western Cape, and sort of some of the towns are being neglected. So we are heavily focusing on the Boland region and the Overberg region in terms of Western Cape, and then from next year we'll be able to expand across South Africa. But in terms of in the next 5 years, would really like to be one of the key players in terms of economic development in Africa as a large. And that is the commitment I made when I put Africa in the name, Access Network Africa, was to remind me that when I had started this vision, it was about impacting economic development and innovation in Africa as a whole. And I think South Africa is a very, very interesting point to start off with. South Africa is very diverse. The issues that we're dealing with are, at the level that is it's at. So, I think I'll be coming in with very relevant knowledge into the space of Africa as a whole. And like I said before, my dream is for no African child to feel like it wouldn't be possible for them to start a business or to be an innovator, because of their surroundings. Yeah.
Love that. Where can people find you?
Okay, so people can go to my website. Now I'm thinking, where is that? So you can find us on www.accessnetworkafrica.com. You can follow our LinkedIn page, Access Network Africa. We're Access Network Africa on Instagram as well as Facebook. And then you can also drop me a follow if you'd like to collaborate, engage, reach out to me on LinkedIn, Arthur Mexico, and Arthur Mexico on social media as well. Okay.
Free audio post-production.